this is Jo from Maths Tutor Me. Today we're doing decimals and we're going to be learning how to round decimals. So straight into the examples, we want to round each of these numbers here to 2 decimal places. So what I like to do is I like to start here at my decimal point and I want to count 1, 2 decimal places. And then after that number, draw a line. Okay, so we want to cut this number so that we have 3.5 and one more number to go. We want 2 decimal places. We want to cut it off there. But we may be able to just cut it off at the 4, or we may have to round that number up to be a 5. And what happens is determined by the number that is after the line. If this number that is after the line is 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, so anything 4 or less, we're just going to cut it off and it will just be 3.54. But if it is 5 or larger, which it is in this case, then I need to round that number in front of the line to be 1 larger. Okay, so in this case, I need to round that up to be 3.55 would be the correctly rounded answer. Let me show you that again in B here. We have 21.09382. So I want 2 decimal places. So there's 1, 2 decimal places. Then I'm going to cut it off after that. The number after the line is a 3. So if it's less than a 4 this time, so I'm just going to cut it off and it's going to stay as 21.09. To see 2 decimal places, 1, 2, then draw the line. The number after the line is right on the 5, which means that we round it up. So that will become 0.0, 1 larger than 7 becomes an 8. Okay, so that was rounding to 2 decimal places. In question 2, we want to round each of the following to the nearest 10th. Now a 10th is the first decimal place, so 1 decimal place. So this time, here's my decimal point. I just want 1 number and then I'm going to put my line there. My number is a 2, which is on the low side, so I'm just going to cut it off and my answer is going to be 5.6. For B, 17.8707, the line goes after the first decimal point, so after the 8 there. Because my number is 5 or larger this time, it's a 7, I need to round that up to become a 9. So 17.9 to the nearest 10th for each of those numbers. In question 3, we want to round to the nearest whole number. So that means we want our line to be at our decimal point. Okay, and because I have a 1 after the decimal point, which is smaller than 5, I'm just going to leave that as 32 is the nearest whole number. In B though, if I draw my line here at the decimal point, my number is a 9. So I have to round this up. Now after 9 becomes 10 as my nearest whole number. For question 4, Jeremy's average bike speed is 15.64892 kilometers per hour. We want to round this to 3 decimal places. So it's doing the same thing, it's just a wordier type of question. So we want 3 decimal places. Here's my decimal point, 1, 2, 3, draw the line. So because it's a 9, we need to round this 8 up to be a 9. So my answer will be 15.649, and since it's his speed, we'll write kilometers per hour. Question 5, give 3 numbers, each with 2 decimal places, that can be rounded to 7.6. Now there are lots of options for this. So we could go slightly below 7.6 and find numbers that will round up. So for example, 7.59 because it's a 9, it would round up to be a 6, wouldn't it, if it was rounded to 1 decimal place. So that's a 2 decimal place number that would round to this if it was to go to 1 decimal place. So I could have any number there. I could have 7.58, 7.57, 7.56, and I could even have 7.55. Okay, but 7.54 would not round up to this, so that would be going too low. I could also go on the higher side of 7.6. I could go 7.61, okay, and that would round down to be 7.6. And again, you could have 7.62, 63, 64. Any of those options would be okay, but 6.5 would be too high because that would round this to be a 7. Okay, so I've just chosen those two there to show you for today. All right, that's the end of my examples. Time to practice. So if you're feeling pretty confident, you can pause the video now and give these questions a try and then restart to see if you get the answers right. Question 1, round to the nearest whole number. So the nearest whole number, it means we want to put our line here at the decimal point. My number is below 5, so my nearest whole number is just 7. Putting the line at the decimal for the second question here, I have an 8. It's 5 and bigger, so I need to round this up to become 27. Question 2, round to 1 decimal place. Here's my 1 decimal place, so I put the line after that. It's a 4, so it rounds down or cuts off to be 56.6. For B, 3.0619, 1 decimal place is the 0, so my line goes after that. But because it's a 6, I need to round this up to become 3.1. Question 3, round to the nearest hundredth. Hundredth is 2 decimal places. So 1, 2, then draw the line. It's a 5, so I need to round that up to be 83.06. For B, 2 decimal places, 1, 2, then draw the line. 8 is also above 5, so I need to round this up to be 0.41. Now we have a wordy question. The bank calculated Laura's interest to be 41.679232. Calculate her interest correct to the nearest cent. Okay, now when we're talking about money, we have $41 here. The first decimal place is 10 cents, and the second decimal place is to 1 cent. Okay, so when it says nearest cent, it actually means 2 decimal places. So draw the line there. Because it's a 9, I need to round that up, so it will become an 8. So $41.68 would be the correctly rounded answer. Question 5, when purchasing items with cash, amounts are rounded to the nearest 5 cents. Round each of the following to the nearest 5 cents. Okay, so it's a little bit different. We didn't really go over this in the example, but if you think about it, I'm sure you can work it out. If we have 28.67 here, so I'm just going to write the numbers from 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. Didn't allow myself enough room there. So when we can only purchase things in the nearest 5 cents, we can be charged 60 cents, 65 cents, or 70 cents. Okay? So the middle of these two numbers is in here. So if I have 63 cents or 64 cents, it will round up to be 65. If I have 61 or 62, it'll round down to 60. Same goes on this side. These two here, 66, 67, I would round down to 65. 68 and 69 would round up to 70. Okay, so $28.67 would round down to be 65 cents. $28.65. $81.29. Okay, so if you're thinking about this but in the 20s, you'd know 29 would be right up the end. It would have to round up to be 30 cents. $81.30. $70.93. The 3 is going to round to the 5, so it's going to be $70.95. All right, that's the end of our lesson today on rounding. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.